Oh, hey YouTube, this is Ben Gessel. You know, I got some stuff in my mind that I really got to talk to you guys about. Um, I can't promise it's all going to be in super organized fashion, but I'll do my best. And maybe to start things out on the good side here, on the nice side, I haven't really had as many negative comments on my channel for a little while, which is nice. That's kind of how I want things to be. If it so happens I get some more, that's just the way things go, and you know what I'll probably do with them. It depends on the nature of the negative comment, of course. But as we both have found out, you, the person watching this, and myself talking, the majority of people leave negative comments on YouTube are not. There's two things. One, they're not really worth their time. Two, the comments aren't worth keeping up on the channel. And with the really big channels, they just have too many comments coming through to really bother, of course. So let me just get to the major stuff here. I talked about Russia and Ukraine stuff recently, and sure, I mean, just like you guys could probably guess, Putin makes some very good, very convincing statements about why he's doing what he's doing. But at the end of the day, this is what it boils down to. Whenever you have two different ideologies, two different game plans for, I guess you could say, militarily speaking. In that case, you can't have a true allied kind of situation, or you can't have two countries within the same kind of group of what am I trying to say here? You can't have a sphere of influence, right? You can't have a sphere of influence being a superpower and then have another nation in that sphere of influence have a different game plan for what they want, that country wants in the world. Classic example of this would be, well, let me see here. India and China are right next to each other. Well, not right next, well, they share a border. Those two countries are not going to be in each other's sphere of influence, period. They have two different anyway, India kind of has its own deal going on. Doesn't really, I don't know if India has a sphere of influence, maybe, but it's getting to be pushing into close to superpower range. I mean, it's the fourth most powerful country in the world. China. Does China have a sphere of influence? I mean, for both countries, it's kind of like the nation itself is its sphere of influence. But maybe like China would take North Korea, maybe some debatedly Southeast Asia, some parts of it. They would say Taiwan, but no. And then, yeah, so China's number 3 and Russia number 2. What's Russia's sphere of influence? So Russia thinks it's the Ukraine and probably Belarus and some of the stands maybe, and basically a lot of it's old Soviet era, all the old USSR places, plus maybe some others as well in Europe. That's what Russia probably considers its sphere of influence. And of course, the United States' sphere of influence is worldwide. It's huge on some level. I mean, it's the big one still. Anyway, so I'm hearing Putin talk. He's making a lot of sense. My dad doesn't really like Putin all that much. I hear usually on YouTube very positive sentiments about Putin in Russia, and a lot of very anti-American sentiments. Some of that is maybe some of the reason why I'm a little upset. But that's just the tip of the iceberg. What's also quite irksome is just, I don't know, it's hard to put my finger on it, but it has something to do with still a lot of folks that I seem to be spending time with, rubbing shoulders with in life. It's not, so this one's hard to put down, because things in this arena are generally better than they used to be. They're doing better. But it's not what I'd like it to be. I kind of feel like, for some reason, and this is just the way that my life seems to be, my entire life, the majority of people that I associate with, I really don't entirely feel always super comfortable with them on some level. The majority, more than half. I don't know how it is with you guys. And if that bothers you guys, and that bothers me, what's the problem? Well, the problem is that it's just, you know what it is. So I wonder if I would feel happier around people that are more either like myself or more the kinds of being around people that I would like to be more like. But it seems like, I don't know, I'm living in a place, I'm renting a room, 3 LDS guys, 2 that are not. They're all decent people. None of them are bad. But one of them right now is apparently doing a lot of video game playing, but it's in the main room, and he's very surly. He's growing increasingly surly about stupid crap. The other one is fine. We're okay. One is getting married and moving out soon, and the other's the landlord, who things are going fine with. But in some respects things are better in that respect than they were in the past. But it's just that in my own living space, in my own domicile, I really, really, really have a problem with people that have too many pet peeves. But not really that. It's like how much to get after with that. It's not really that. It's because in your own living space, you would expect things to be such that you would be totally comfortable in your own living space. In my room, yes, I am completely 100% comfortable. Thankfully. That's always the one place that you can expect things to be 100%. And if things are not 100%, whatever, then that's a real. And then that's like, okay, might as well go somewhere else, move out, absolutely. But I guess this is what's bothering me. I shouldn't have to I shouldn't have to feel like I'm defending myself in the place that I live in a way. I shouldn't have to feel like I'm judged in any way that especially is unreasonable. And I don't know, man. I felt a little bit that way recently. And I can't really completely fault the person that was doing some of the judging. And this is what I think, far more than this Ukraine-Russia thing, that's really bothering me. Although the Ukraine-Russia thing does bother me because it involves people dying. That's the part that really, yeah. But no, but the thing is it's this humanistic, secular. What's a secular, humanistic, and very pessimistic view of the world that this one young man has in this renting room in my house, place I live at, and doesn't want to get married. That's not the only thing that's whatever it is, you know. But it's like, it's kind of like the whole. I'm just getting the vibes more and more from folks sometimes. Some people don't have immediate vibes, you could say, but the vibes coming from this young man very much smack of the secular, humanistic kind of crap that I just keep getting from YouTube. Quite often, even from members of my own church, unfortunately. This guy. And it seems to be coming from the media. And he watches a heck of a lot of YouTube. Probably more than me. Which is probably very much influencing this. What is the secular humanistic thing that I seem to be more upset about? Which, by the way, Vladimir Putin also knows very well what I'm talking about. He's spoken about it before. About political correctness and all this stuff. Well, it's everything that flies in the face of the way things ought to be, not just the United States, but throughout the world, in terms of how we ought to be living our lives, in terms of what's actually true. Whether or not you're a conservative or liberal, and I would probably imagine that if you're fully in agreement with everything I'm saying, it's likely that you're conservative, but even if you're liberal, you might be agreeing with what I'm saying pretty much as well, a lot of times. There are certain things that, just seem to bring happiness in life. And this idea that there is no God, or if there is a God, he's just not very involved in our lives at all. And that you can do what you want, there's no consequences, and just to kind of live for yourself kind of thing. And, belittle your neighbor, find fault with someone because of their words. So many unchristian things are creeping into Christianity, by the way, increasingly. And people not just sticking up for what is decent and right and true. And also for what's just human, but not the darker side of humanity. The light, if anybody finds fault with you guys because of anything that you feel is just instinctively part of you being a human, that is on the lighter side, I guess the good side of being human. If anyone finds fault with that, that's jacked up. That's really messed up. Like, we have the sex drive because we want to get married and have kids, right? That's kind of the whole overall arching deal of that whole thing. The more that people say something other than that, or more especially, the more that the more that I feel something that's very anti. It has to be anti. It can't be. It has to be against what I've, That's just one thing of many things, but it's I don't know how to put my finger on this, but it's kind of like, regardless of whether you're being single or get married in this life, when somebody puts forth the notion that I'm having a tough time with this one. I can't really put this one in words, but anyway, I'll mention this again. I shouldn't have to defend myself regarding some very basic things that are just part of me being a human being. I shouldn't have to defend myself, but I feel like I am. But the other thing I have to mention is this. I think I'm kind of done with having stupid comments toward 20-somethings at this point, unless they are more mature than their years. But just, heck, if somebody online or in real life, if they're south of 30 years old, I just don't want to do it. I don't want to. No more arguments. I just have no more desire for that at all. Period. And so what I did today, some idiot in Europe, I'm guessing, wanted to go on about how the United States was a sucky nation to live in, and he said, "Oh, prove that I'm wrong." Like, how do you prove that the United States is either a great place to live or not a great place to live? How much? There's so much to say on either side. It's just a stupid and ridiculous thing to say to begin with. So I was like, nope, it's an absurd comment. Goodbye. Blocked him. And that's just how I want to deal with every stupid comment, and I don't care what country somebody's from. I don't care at all. At all. Unfortunately, this could also mean Russia, and I feel like for the longest time things have been warming between the United States and Russia, and I want things to be that way. I don't know what Putin's thinking, but I kind of understand what he's saying. I do. If Russia is a superpower, they should have a sphere of influence, right? So that the real issue is it just that Russia's like, hey, what's going on here? You got missiles pointing at Moscow. You can hit us in 5 minutes. What's going on here? And then, of course, if we withdraw, if we decide, okay, whoa, we're getting in their grill too much, and we just pull out, then Eastern Europe is left to fend for themselves against Russia. And Eastern Europe probably isn't going to be, well, they're much stronger than they used to be. But what's going to happen? Well, Russia's probably going to want to move their stuff in, right? Of course, that's the problem. The United States doesn't want that. I'm saying the United States doesn't want that. Another question you could ask is, what do I want? Well, I just want all these stupid ideologies to stop and just have everybody try to be good to each other and that sort of thing. But like an LDS hipster would say, I'm not a hipster, but it sounds like a hippie thing to say, but it's not just a hippie thing to say. Nobody wants war. No right-thinking person wants war. The only people that want war are people that, hate. I don't hate. At least we got to say it to ourselves over and over again. I don't hate. I don't hate Russians for being Russian. I don't hate Chinese for being Chinese. I don't hate people. But yeah, it's like when you have these different ideologies, when you have these different Russia fears, that's what fear. Russia's like, hey, get out of our space. Our space isn't just our nation, it's the other nations around us. And we're like, but hey, if we give you your space, you're going to invade them. And these other countries don't want that. Maybe Belarus might like it. Maybe Kazakhstan might like it because they seem to be more positive about you guys. But I don't think Ukraine likes it. I don't think Poland likes it. But are you going to let them decide, Russia? No. Because Russia, we all know that in your heart of hearts, you're just not true democracy yet. But you're not Soviet Union anymore. I get that. But yeah, I mean, we're kind of looking at Putin. We're like, yeah, Putin's not, no. But then, of course, we know about the Illuminati and the Western world and all that stuff too. So it's like we can't. Many times we have a hard time being fully allied with the United States and Britain all the time when we hear about stuff that's happening that we don't know about. We're going to bomb some other country that we don't know about, and maybe why are we there again? No, I don't know. We're bombing them. We're bombing them because they're brown people, right? George Carlin stuff. And then of course Putin will say this stuff back, just like like, hey, you guys trying to be the righteous ones? What are you doing here? What are you doing that? You're bombing them there and here and there. And then I would say, you're right. I can't defend the United States actions. I have no idea what they're doing, why they're doing that stuff. We have no power over that. But personally, for myself, Putin, I would hope and pray that you don't invade Ukraine, because these are real people that are going to be spilling their guts. Because why? Because you want more. What, you want the old USSR without communism? What do you want, Putin? It's just not worth it. We're not going to fire on Moscow unless we want a death wish, because that's World War III. Well, that's if you got any kind of allegiant alliance with China, we'd be starting a war if we fired our stuff on you guys. I don't know why the United States is so. It makes sense why Eastern Europe is that way. Nobody trusts you, Putin. The only people that trust you are in Russia, because they have a better life than they used to have. And who could the Russians trust? Gorbachev was a good man. But kind of makes time to Gorbachev and Reagan, because they're both good men. Even if anyway. Yeltsin was actually a good man, even though he wasn't maybe as strong as some people think he was. I mean, as a leader. We don't trust Putin, not fully. People that do, I'm just like, yeah, you thought you could trust Putin, and what is he doing? He's provoking a war with Ukraine. So many Trump supporters were very pro-Putin because they saw him as a strong leader. And I should have seen it too. I was always, you can never really fully 100% trust Putin. I don't know. And he reinforces that stereotype that the poker-faced Russian. You're not really sure what's going on. Can you reinforce that stereotype some more, Putin? Just reinforce all the Russian stereotypes. Why don't you? And then, of course, so what else do I have on my mind here? Well, there definitely are other things. You guys probably often don't hear most of them. I just want people to be more candid about things, I guess. I don't want to, be guessing about people all the time. I'm sick and tired of living sometimes in a very liberal state, in some respects. But it's not really the fact that it's liberal, it's the fact that it's worldly and it's evil. It's sick and twisted. And I'm sick of, it's like when you hear people praise Russia for it being so righteous. Really? Really? Are Russians more righteous than Americans? I don't want to say they're unrighteous. I just kind of no, this is more nationalism that's speaking. There's no basis in truth in this. He's talking about comparing two different nations spiritually. It's like, no, I'm not going to do it. When you hear things like America is the great Satan, how can you take that seriously? Muslims that say that stuff, they don't know Americans. They say that America is the great Satan because they're getting bombed by the President of the United States, or Illuminati, basically. But they don't know all the families that are Americans that are good people. All the people in the United States, they've never met them. How, so that they often say, once they know them, like, oh, you guys aren't satanic. Yeah, thank you, we're not. Yep, you're right. It's our government that is, yeah. It's really, really hard to overthrow the government. For some reason, they have everything figured out. how to protect themselves. Well, I wish I could tell you other things that are, making me kind of upset, but I think it's just that I've been told that sometimes I just kind of, I've been told by some people I just roll over and play dead when it comes to the way that I am as a teacher, my teacher policies. And then in my own life, I'm maybe a little bit more tenacious at times. Well, the whole reason why I tend to roll over and play dead is because I don't want people gossiping about me to other teachers and other people, saying that I'm a tyrant and I'm, money grubber or something, right? All these things that aren't true. So I always thought that if I was kind to parents, that they would be kind to me. That tends to be the case, but it's never 100% of the time, and that's just the way humanity is. And people will take advantage of kindness a lot of times. Some people will. I don't always know who they are, but with time you get wiser about that kind of stuff. When I hear things, a lot of times, some things you kind of take. Some things you know when things are a bit more truthful or more insightful about your own character than other things, or how you're doing things. But some people have to ask the question, like, do you really know? And I've never said this to any parent, but I would say, do you really know how I treat people outside of my teaching studio? Do you know? But I've never asked the question because it seems very confrontational. It seems very, kind of negatively spirited. It's an antagonistic question. It's kind of like, you think I'm the softie, and you want to say that I should be a little bit more tougher with people. You have no idea how severe I've been with some people in the past. I hate being that way, but I can be that way. But I don't want to be that way. Not at all. And I'm wondering why have I bent over backwards for people that I've taught their kids, and yet it's just an imbalance in life. I feel like in my life, it's an imbalance. But I feel like if I haven't put all this energy into my teaching, that it would negatively affect me professionally. Isn't that jacked up? And that's like what everybody's everybody's feeling overworked in some level. So many people are, maybe I'll just become a life coach and then charge people tons of money, and then, then I scoff at that. I kind of scoff at anything that to me just seems like they're just taking a perpetual vacation of sorts, never really working. I have a tough time with people like that because all of it when I'm on vacation, all of it when I'm taking it easy in life. But when it's a year after year thing, and they're charging tons of money, and they're not really working very hard, I have a really hard time with that whole whole way of life. That could be a real estate agent. That could be somebody who's really good at selling, but they don't really work very hard at all. People that come into inheritances and stuff. No respect for people like that, because hard work ennobles a man. Laziness, does not ennoble a man. Laziness is something that is to be despised. Unless someone's on vacation, and that vacation's probably not last, longer than half a year. I mean, if someone takes a huge, long time off, I could see that. Who am I to judge? But it's like, if somebody just is not doing anything with their life, period, it's more sort of thing where you want to be like, okay. It isn't always to be despised, I guess. It's not something that should be the permanent way to be. I might make another video in a bit. Catch you later. Take care. Bye.